What's going on, Lego Maniacs? It's Ty, the Lego guy here, and welcome to another episode of Ty's Talks, a Q&A series. We're in episode 33. This one had some interesting questions, including what are my thoughts on Tales of the Jedi? What's the scariest Lego set? Along with, will I ever maybe do life vlogs like M&R Productions? Amongst a bunch of other really good questions. And again, if you have questions for next Ty's Talks, just leave them in the comments and we'll get to them in episode 34. But enough talk, let's get right into it. And our first question comes to us from Karma Brick Creations, and he says, what is your favorite spooky set? I like the Night Lord's Tower from the Fright Nights theme. Also, are you going to make any future videos on the smaller MOCs you mentioned before? Okay, so both good questions. As far as the scariest set, I'm probably just going to go with the Stranger Things Upside Down. You may think that that's not very scary, but honestly, the Upside Down is pretty freaky. And I mean, watching those episodes whenever they went down there, I always was kind of freaked out. But you bring up a good, like Fright Nights is pretty scary as well. A lot of the medieval sets, if we're being more realistic, some of them are kind of morbid, like the Knight's Kingdom 2 sets. One of them had a skeleton being hanged in this castle, and it was supposed to be like the good guy castle. So yeah, if we're being more realistic, probably some of the medieval sets. But if we're just saying, you know, generally what's scary, I'd probably go with, as far as fiction, with the Stranger Things Upside Down set. And as far as the smaller MOC question that you had, I do plan on doing that. In fact, I'm gonna name it Choose Your Lego Creation, and you guys can kind of vote for what you want me to make. I think it would be a cool, interesting idea. It wouldn't be so involved too that, you know, it takes months and months of building. You spend thousands and thousands of dollars. In case you guys are wondering, the Battle for Tortuga Bay, that MOC cost me probably, I'd say it cost me about $2,000, give or take. Maybe that's a bit high, but between $1,000 and $2,000, I'd say. So they aren't cheap by any means, but I think it'd be really cool to do smaller scale MOCs and have them a little bit more flexible. Hopefully I can start putting out those episodes sometime soon. Colin Roberts has an interesting question. You mentioned that you received the Mon Calamari Star Cruiser, but it was a late holiday gift and you got it in the beginning of February 2010. And you asked if I have a similar story like that. Sort of. When I was really, really little, one of my earliest memories of getting a Lego set, I really wanted the Robo Guardian. I was really into the 90s space sets, and what my parents had done, I guess they went the night before, they bought the Robo Guardian set and they set it on a chair in front of my bed, and when I woke up the set was like just there. It was one of the best memories I ever have of getting a Lego set. One of the best ways I think you can ever give your kid a set too, because I mean, you wake up and there's the set, or there's a set that you maybe had wanted. So sort of have a story like that. Not obviously exactly like yours, but yeah, I was really into Lego as a kid, and because of that, that's probably the main gift my parents, or it was the main gift that my parents ended up buying me. Elias says, hey, for episode 33, what do you think about the retired UCS Death Star? Is it worth getting? Okay, so I did a little bit of research on this one, and there's two UCS Death Stars. I'm not quite sure which one you mean. I'm assuming you mean the Playhouse, the one that came out in 2016, and I believe they had the earlier model that came out in like 2008. That set is going for about 1,100 USD sealed, which is pretty expensive. That's going for about double what it was going for when it was on shelves. I think that that's too much money. If you're able to get it used in good condition, maybe. But what I love about the Death Star, or the Death Star in particular, as far as Lego goes, is they make a lot of smaller scale sets that are based off of, like we just recently got the Garbage Compactor set, we also have the Death Star Escape set, the Death Star Turbo Laser set. So if you want to have certain scenes from the Death Star, it's pretty easy to do that, and it's a lot cheaper. Or the Death Star Final Duel set, like the one that came out in 2020 along with 2015, 2016. There's a lot of alternatives to getting scenes from the Death Star is what I'm saying, for a lot cheaper price. So that would be the route that I'd go instead of paying $1,100 for a set. I mean, unless you can get it used in good condition, like I said. As far as if you mean the Death Star 2 from 2005, that's an awesome set. However, again, that one is going for crazy amounts of money. Like, I'm talking around 1,800 USD roughly, if not more, sealed in good condition. Like, I just did a quick search. But yeah, what I do, if you're looking for the rooms, just buy the sets that are separate, that are not the Death Star. It's a lot cheaper. And if you're talking about the plated Death Star, I would just forgo it. And hopefully Lego ends up giving us a new Death Star sometime soon. There has been some mods that people have done to the globe and they've made it a Death Star instead. That may be a cheaper route of going about getting a Death Star that has plates. But yeah, all the best in finding a good deal on the Death Star. If you can get a good deal, I'd say go out and buy it. VGuard comes up with a very heated question, which is Mac or PC? And then you mentioned that you want to get a MacBook Pro for video editing. Okay, for me personally, I like PC just because I find Apple a little bit limited in what they allow you to do. I think a PC allows you to do more. However, what you can do with a Mac, what it does very, very well. As far as if you're looking to get into video editing, you don't need to get a MacBook. I know that they are more expensive generally than the average PC. What I use personally is an Asus Tough Gaming laptop. So it's a gaming laptop. It's very good at editing. It is Microsoft, obviously, and I just use Filmora Wondershare to edit my videos. It was only 80 bucks and it was a lifetime. Like I don't have to pay every month for it. I just have it. So yeah, just, you know, figure out what you want to do with Black Friday sales and stuff like that we just recently, you know, have had. There's a lot of good deals out there, but yeah, I hope you're able to find a good deal maybe on a Mac, but if you can't, don't look down on Microsoft. If you get like a gaming laptop on sale, they work pretty well, and yeah, you can get an editing software for a pretty good price. Captain Cody Pro asks, hey Ty, would you consider doing life vlogs like kind of the way Ryan of M&R does his vlogs? Would you consider doing something like this? Okay, so this is a good question. I like to do the Search for the Holy Lego deals vlog because, you know, it's very Lego oriented and we're looking for deals on Lego. I find them kind of fun to make as well. As far as if I'd ever do life vlogs, I might consider it. I just don't want it to be boring. Not saying that M&R's life vlogs are boring, but just I don't want to like show you, hey, I'm cleaning the house. Hey, I'm you know, out on a boat right now. Like, just, I don't know. I don't know if you guys would find that interesting. What I do really like doing is my traveling vlogs. So in those, it's kind of like day-to-day vlogs, but you're traveling, which, I mean, I find that really, that's one of my favorite things to do. And you're also to the side looking for Lego deals. I hope to start doing that again. In fact, me and a buddy are looking at maybe going to Europe beginning of next year, and I'll definitely have some Lego vlogs in there, but then on top of that, some travel vlogs that are kind of mixed in with it. Really excited to do that. So yeah, that would be the version of a life vlog that I'd end up doing, just because I find that a little bit more interesting than showing you guys, you know, hey, I'm vacuuming the floor or something. I'm obviously exaggerating, but yeah, hopefully I can get those travel vlogs going again sometime soon. COVID kind of put a damper on that, but now with COVID starting to die down, I'm hoping to get those Lego vlogs out again. And our last question comes to us from Kylo Sam, and he says, ask Ty, what do you think about Star Wars Tales of the Jedi? Guys, if you have not watched Tales of the Jedi, go out and watch it. I really, really like it. There wasn't a single episode that I didn't like. I love the fact that they can kind of jump time frames. Like you have one of the first episodes, well, you have Ahsoka when she's really little, like a baby, but then one of the first episodes you have Dooku when he's like about 50, let's say, and you kind of have that character development leading into who he is in Attack of the Clones. But bear in mind, when Dooku's about 50, it's probably 30 years before the Phantom Menace, or 40 years before the Phantom Menace, actually. So I really, really liked it. I love the fact that they can jump time frames, they can cover different characters. It's not so set, like it is done in the Clone Wars style, but it's not so set on the Clone Wars era or time frame. They can do whatever they want with it, and that's what I love about it. I think it's being very well done as well. I'm really hoping that we get some Lego sets maybe from Tales of the Jedi 2, like where Yaddle and Dooku dueled. I'd love to have that, kind of like Palpatine's secret base. Maybe even some temple sets, because there's a lot of temple scenes in that series, because it is Tales of the Jedi. That would also be pretty cool. Maybe a Jedi archive room or something like that, where Dooku goes to erase Kamino from the archive record. But yeah, anyways, really, really like it. And yeah, I highly recommend, if you guys haven't seen that and you're on the fence, go on and watch Tales of the Jedi. It does not disappoint, especially if you like Clone Wars. But that pretty well does this Ty's Talks. As always, guys, if you have questions for next Ty's Talks, just leave them in the comments, and we'll get to them in episode 34. But that pretty well does the video. But if you liked it, leave it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, you know, definitely consider subscribing. and click that bell so you're notified for any future Q&As. We do one of these every month, and yeah, you guys come up with a lot of interesting stuff. But that's all I got for you again. But thanks again for watching. I do really appreciate the support, guys. I don't say that enough. And I'll catch you on the next one.